What's going on, my broskies? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And in today's video, we're talking about the brand new batch of level limit breaks coming to the game. So with the data download, which did introduce us the information for the Olin and the Otama Sugo Fest, interestingly enough, we got a brand new batch of level limit breaks, and this is a pretty exciting batch as it does feature characters that myself personally and the community at a wider perspective we're very much looking forward to. So I'm excited to jump in and discuss these characters. Hopefully they got some good buffs. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. So let's start off with our first character. Let's start off with Trafalgar Law. Now, the one that we're specifically talking about is the Quick Law. Now, there is the Quick one being the 6-star, and there's also the 6-star plus, and wildly enough, both of these characters actually receive buffs. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So Striker Law, let's have a look. Captain ability is going to reduce cooldown by 1 at the start of the quest, boosting Striker characters' attack by 5 times with the matching slot, 4.5 otherwise. Quick slots are matching and heals 0.5 characters recovery for every perfect. So captain ability wise, like it's a solid captain, but it's not a captain that you're really gonna use that much, to be honest. 5 times is perfectly reasonable though. Like 5 times with healing and a cooldown, like it's fine, nothing too crazy there. And then special, let's have a look. 500k to a single target. Bind and Despair removal by 4 turns. That's kinda cool, actually. Changes adjacent slots, including block, into matching. And then boost striker characters' orbs by 2.5 for 1 turn. If HP is 80% or above when you launch the special, cuts the crew's health by 50%, but reduces this character's special charge time by 6 turns. Huh? Okay. I mean, that's kind of weird. I don't know why they chose 6 turns specifically. I mean, my guy isn't even limit break, but you know, still, that's weird. That's really, really weird. It is cool though that he does remove Bind and Despair. Actually, that's really cool because he is a slasher, so you can just put Whitey base support on him if you wanted to remove additional turns of Bind and Despair. So you can remove up to 6 turns with him by himself. You also get an orb boost out of it. So if you're running like a striker team, yeah, for sure you can use it. But I mean, once again, if you're using a striker team and you want an orb booster, we already have 2 really good units that can do that. You got Legend Hina, and you've obviously got the Super Tandem Kaido. So I don't know if this guy's going to see play over characters like that, but I suppose this is just another option that you have, right? Let's briefly talk about the 6+, which I think this guy probably will be a little bit more important to look at. Captain ability is going to be -1 cooldown, Cerebral 5x instead, 4.5, with a health boost, and also makes more slots matching instead of just quick. It's quick recovery and tandem, and then the same recovery healing at the end of the turn. Captain ability wise, it's better, but if you're using a Cerebral team, you're probably just going to use Uta, right? Special ability, reduces enemy barrier by 2, very good. Cooldown by 1, reduce Bind and Despair by 5, 400k to all enemies, 2.5 Cerebral Orb boost, and a 500 base attack boost for 1 turn. Yeah, this is obviously better. This is obviously a better special ability. Unfortunately, I don't think even with all of these buffs, these characters are going to see a lot of play because Law already has a lot of competition with himself. So that's unfortunate for him. Obviously, Super Tandem Law is also a quick unit that is also Cerebral. So it is what it is. But realistically, he's cool. He got some cool buffs. He's a lot more usable for sure, but I don't think he's going to see a lot of play. Now, the next one on the list is a character that saw a lot of play on release and saw somewhat little bit of usage in Pirate Rumble, and that character is V2 Rayleigh. So Rayleigh, let's have a look and see what he gets. So with his captain ability, gets -2 cooldown at the start of the quest, 4.5 attack, HP and recovery by 1.2. If health is 50% or below, you get a 5x boost instead, greatly boost the chances of landing on a matching slot. Now, I don't remember if this guy actually received a buffed captain ability through his expansion. If he did, obviously this is going to be a lot better than what you see currently right here. Either way, it's fine. The -2 cooldown is the big thing though. That might make him see a little bit of play just due to the pseudo speed farming. It's kind of funny because these days it's like, oh damn, we need to buff a character's captain ability. Let's just slap a cooldown reduction on him. That's the best way to buff a unit these days, it seems like. Let's have a look at the special though. Special, 500k damage to a single target, ignores all defensive effects. 3.5 chain lock for 3 turns. That's actually pretty big. The fact that you can stack a chain lock over multiple different turns, that's pretty big. You get a 2 times orb boost for 1 turn. If your health is 50% or below, 95% damage reduction, all slots including block into matching. If you land 3 perfects, you get a 2.25 times orb boost in the following turn. So yeah, definitely use it on a mini boss stage, carry it into the final stage. You get all boost, you get a chain lock, you get a full board of slots. Okay, seems okay. He is a free spirit unit. You can put gym-based support on him to lock the slots that he gives you. Yeah, there's some cool scenarios where you can use this guy for sure. Interestingly enough, though, he actually received some very big Rumble buffs. Now, I'm not going to talk about the lore that we had previously with his Rumble because it doesn't really matter with him. But this guy's interesting. You get Team HP level 6. If his HP is below 70%, you get Team Defense level 5, and if he's below 70%, you also get Guard Up level 5. I believe the threshold for his buffs was increased, right? So you needed to be like below 50% or 60% or something to get the buffs. So now it's 70%, so it's a lot easier to achieve these defensive buffs. And one big thing is previously his special was a 45 CT cooldown, and they've made it go to 36, which is way better. And he targets enemies in a large range for 2100 fixed damage, and then your team gets level 6 attack and level 6 defense for 20 seconds. And I mean, obviously we just had the super evolution of super type Kid, so this plus Kid, Legend Brook, the amount of bulkiness that are in these Dex teams right now is absurd. Man, I'm not looking forward to fighting these really bulky Dex teams. It's going to be an absolute pain, bro. But there you go, the new Dex Rayleigh. I think his buffs are pretty solid. Probably not going to see a lot of play in normal content. Likely going to see more play in Pirate Rumble, but Dex has a lot of competition to be using in Rumble anyway, so it is what it is. The next one, which is kind of cool, this is one I was really hoping to see, is Legend Garp. Legend Garp, he's a really cool character. He debuted at a really weird time for Global, and with his 6+, definitely gave him some nice buffs, but he still didn't really see like a lot of play, so I'm hoping that we see some really cool stuff here. So his captain ability is going to provide, again, -1 cooldown, surprise, surprise, boosting all characters' attack by 4.5, health by 1.5, makes Psi, Int, and recovery slots have matching slot effects. Oh no, yeah, that's right, you have to hit the order of Good, Great, Perfect, that's right, shout out to GGP. If you hit in the order of Good, Great, Perfect, you get a 5.5 multiplier. That's crazy. And also reduces the crew's special reverse by 2 turns. Actually, one thing I want to look real quick. Does he have a buffed captain ability via the... No. Okay, he doesn't have a buffed captain, because that special reverse may have been buffed even further. The -2 special reverse, maybe that might see him see a little bit of play, I think. I think that's actually kind of cool that he has that. 5 turns of special reverse isn't a lot though, but in a lot of cases that will be enough, I think. You know, you probably don't run double Garp here, but still you need to hit GGP in order to get the most out of it. Yeah, Garp's in a really weird spot, honestly. I don't know how I feel about this. I don't think he's going to see like a lot of play, but it seems reasonable, right? Like this is a usable captain for sure. Is it a good captain? It's fine. It's fine. We'll see how things go. Let's see this special though. 30% health cut that ignores everything, aside from normal attacks only, of course. Sets the chain multiplier minimum to 3.25 with the maximum at 6.0 for 2 turns. So he becomes a chain boundary unit, but unfortunately they kind of cuck him because his maximum value can only go to 6 times. That's a real big issue, I think. The fact that characters have like so many OP ways to get really high chain multipliers now. So if you stack this with like any like relatively decent chain multiplier boost, you're probably going to be reaching that max cap of 6 pretty quickly. So I don't know how I feel about that. Changes the crew's chain multiplier growth rate of normal attacks to plus 0.3. So this is something that we've seen recently, obviously with the introduction of the Anniversary Limited Zoro. He does have this, Legend Ulti, Super Tandem Law, Super Tandem Kid, and now this Garp also has it. Funny enough though, Garp adds 0.3 for each of these buffs, whether it be perfect, good, or great, which kind of makes sense with the character. So if you hit good, great, or perfect, you're getting the same like additional buff along the way. So that's actually kind of cool. And of course, this stacks with other chain boosting effects. And of course, the fact that he gives a chain boundary plus this effect at the same time, it's actually pretty good. He also reduces the crew's special bind duration by 10 turns. You know, just slide that in at the end. Yeah, he's still got 10 turns of special bind removal. I believe previously he was only 7 turns, so they've buffed it to 10 turns now, which is actually very, very good. So Garp special, very good. I think that he's going to see a lot more play as a crewmate. And you can see even at stage 1, a stage 1 special 8 turns for what he does. 10% health cut, 3.25 chain boundary, only capping at 4. But then also just removing special bind by 5 on an 8-turn cooldown. It's still very good. And of course, he still has a really useful support effect too. So Garp seems fine. I don't think he's going to see a lot of play as a captain, but definitely as a sub. So this is also another massive character that was going to be receiving a level limit break here, which is Legend Franky. Now, Legend Franky is a really important character in the community right now because he is currently like one of the only characters in the game that has an innate ability to bypass enemies' damage limiter. Damage limiter, there's literally no characters that can straight up remove it. Well, technically there are ways to remove it in pseudo ways, but there isn't a character in the game that says remove damage limiter. This is a character with his captain action that can bypass it, right? This is very important stuff that we're talking about here. Let's have a look and see what he does. So you need to have a fighter, slasher, striker, and shooter only on your crew, right? It means that all of your characters need to have one of those 4 classes. You don't need all of them on your crew, but everyone on your team needs to have one of these classes, right? So you can just run a full team of slashers if you want, right? Just as long as every character in your crew is at least one of the classes here. So you need to have that. But then it says the captain ability is going to be -1 cooldown at the start of the fight. We love to see it. He also provides 4.5 attack, 1.5 HP, tandem and recovery slots are beneficial. So that's it, right? It's not an amazing captain, but the fact that you're mainly going to be using him in a hybrid scenario just to bypass damage limiter, this is fine. And then of course, you've got the captain action, the docking. When you activate it, he's going to become a 4.75 times attack boost, 1.5 times HP, 38% damage reduction, recovery and tandem slots beneficial, and characters cannot be blown away. And of course, you get the additional effect of, depending on which class of character attacks, you get additional buffs. Now remember, if you have a fighter character, they receive an additional 1.25 times bonus. So if we go 4.75 multiplied by 1.25, it means that fighter characters under Franky's captain action have a 5.93 times multiplier. That's crazy, dude. So if you run a full team of fighters, the amount of damage you can get from this is kind of nuts. It literally rivals some of the characters that you'll be dealing with in the game, like the Super Sugo Fest exclusives. So this is a good captain ability. This is really, really solid, right? So let's go ahead and move on to his special. So his special ability is a 20% health cut. He also randomly changes slots, including block, unless they are matching slots. He makes all type slots beneficial to the crew. Remember, as a captain, he already makes recovery and tandem beneficial. So with his special active, you basically, all your natural slots will be treated as beneficial. He also will boost the attack of fighter, slasher, striker, and shooter by 2.5 times for 1 turn. And if he is the captain or the friend captain, he removes or he cancels attack reducing slot effects for 1 turn. Meaning that hypothetically, if you have a block slot, he will treat it as a neutral slot for 1 turn, which is kind of interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. That probably should have been something else. But then, if he's the captain, you also remove 6 turns of Rainbow Shield, 6 turns of Threshold, and 6 turns of Paralysis. Like, this is so good. Like, this is a really, really good special. Remember, like, a lot of the time, if you're going to be using Franky, you're most likely using him as a captain. So the fact that you can get access to this is so good. Obviously, you only get it if you use him as the captain, but as I said, you know, you're only really using Franky on a team as the captain to get access to the captain action for the beneficial effects out of that. So this is cool. I think this is really, really good. And this is a nice way to get people to use these characters as captains again that have these cool captain actions, right? Like characters such as like Sober Mask. If they ever give Sober Mask a level limit break, they should give him a special ability that only works if he's the captain. I think that is probably the way that they should do it. But this is cool. I think they've done a really, really good job with Franky. Now, I'm a big fan of shooters in Part Rumble, so I actually kind of want to see what they're doing here. So he gives Fighter, Slasher, Striker, Shooter 8 HP and 5 speed. That's pretty good. 25 CT, does a frontal, large frontal, 22% health cut. And then Fighter, Slasher, Striker, Shooters get level 5 defense. And if you have 3 or more characters, or 3 or more characters than your team, if the enemy has 3 or more than your team, you get an additional level 5 defense. Okay, that's kind of weird. I mean, you still get a 22% health cut and defense up, but you only get the benefits if they have more than you. I mean, I guess technically, if you're at the start of a match and you have not that many characters on your crew, potentially you could get a lot out of this. But I don't know. I think it probably should have added an attack buff on top of it or something like that, or it should have been like an additional health cut or something. But either way, that's Franky for you. I definitely think he's pretty solid overall. But we have one more character to talk about before we end this video. And that character is going to be none other than my man, Mr. Slam Jam Katakuri, one of my favorite SugoFest exclusives in the game, with his Ink Effect already active. Here we have the strongest of the Sweet 3 generals. Yes, Katakuri is receiving a level limit break. How crazy is that? Let's go ahead and see what he's up about. Let's see. Cooldown. Oh, -1 cooldown at the start of the quest. Surprise, surprise. Boosting Slasher, Striker, Driven, Cerebral, and Powerhouse characters' attack by 2.3 times. So if a character has 2 of these classes, they get a 5.29. So a flat 5.29 is already a very, very good way to start things off. He also gives 1.2 health, strength, sight, recovery, tandem slots are beneficial to the crew, reduces damage by 20%, delays enemies by 1 turn, based on the amount of damage that you dealt, and the delay looks to have not changed from his limit break captain currently, so that seems still pretty reasonable to me. Captain ability wise, it's good. I mean, there isn't really much here that's different. I think it would have been cool if they just did a straight, like, even like it was a 5 times multiplier or a 5.25 times multiplier just to characters that are Slasher, Striker, Driven, Cerebral, and Powerhouse, so you didn't have to run characters that are specifically 2 of these classes. Kind of like what they did with Carrot, right? Where Carrot gave the boost to, you know, Fighter, Slasher, Shooter, Striker, and Cerebral, and you no longer had to have characters that were both of those classes. So I think Katakuri probably lost a little bit of, lost a large pool of characters just due to that alone, unfortunately. But I think despite all that, the fact that he has essentially a 5.3 multiplier with cooldown, health, matching slots, damage reduction, it's a pretty well-rounded captain. And then we can have a look at the special, which is also very important. Reduces Slasher, Striker, Driven, Cerebral, Powerhouse cooldown by 1. 100 times his attack and typeless damage on top of your tap timing bonuses for 3 turns. Previously, I believe it was 2 turns, so that's interesting. He changes Empty Block, Bomb, Recovery, and G slots into matching, and then makes Slasher, Striker, Driven, Cerebral, Powerhouse type slots beneficial for 3 turns. Okay. Boost their attack by 2.25 for 2 turns. That's kind of annoying. Why do you make it, everything's for 3 turns, but then make the attack boost for 2 turns? That's kind of annoying. If the crew lands 3 perfect strikes, boost damage dealt to delayed enemies by 2.25 in the following turn. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. This character is built in such a way where you want to make sure you can be doing, you know, the delay, you delay the enemy, and then you get the conditional boost, so you can have an attack boost and a conditional boost. You'll have matching slots over multiple turns. That's the way this character is built. So I'm definitely going to go out of my way to try and showcase this in some content. I think that there's definitely some ways you can kind of abuse this. This seems pretty interesting to me. I kind of like it. It seems pretty sick. So that's that. Let's go ahead and have a look at his Rumble stuff. So Rumble stuff gives int HP 6, blow away 6, and whenever you blow away an enemy, he gives himself level 7 attack. Unfortunately, his Rumble abilities really didn't get that much of an upgrade. Large range horizontal, 1.9 damage, all enemies, speed 6 down, and attack down 6. Yeah, he really didn't receive a lot of buffs. He's still terrible in Rumble. But at least he received some buffs nonetheless. I'm really excited to use him. I've got mine at level 5. He is limit break expanded. I don't know if I'll get him to 150 because I don't know if I even have a lot of EXP materials to even do that. I'm running out for sure. But I'm very excited to use him in content. But either way, that is the rundown of all of the brand new level limit breaks that are arriving here with the new update, along with the Big Mom SugoFest. So all that being said, hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Let me know down below in the comment section which of these level limit breaks is your favorite out of the new batch. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.